everybody. I just wanted to apologize. I know it's Wednesday, it's not Tuesday anymore, but the Apple event just happened Tuesday morning, so yesterday morning, and it took longer to put this together than I expected, so here we go. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Well, it's time for another Tools and Tech Tuesday, and today, Apple announced some stuff. So let's run through what they announced, and let's talk about it. I was pleasantly surprised that we didn't have to sit through 40 minutes of Apple flexing over how much money they made in the last quarter or the last year or whatever. We get it, Apple. You're doing really well. They got right into it this time. And that was probably because it was all online. There was no live audience this time. So let's run down what's new with the Apple Watch. First of all, they say that the always-on screen is 20% brighter than the Series 5, making it easier to see during daylight. They said that the dual-core processor in the Apple Watch Series 6 is based on the processor in the iPhone 11, which is nuts because that thing is crazy powerful. The Apple Watch Series 6 has an always-on altimeter, so you can go on a hike, go up a mountain or whatever, and it'll tell you what your elevation was the whole time. Probably the biggest change they made for the Apple Watch Series 6 was they added a blood oxygen level sensor. If you're not already familiar with it, your blood oxygen level affects a lot of things like the functioning of your brain and other organs. They added a product red Apple Watch with a red body and a red band that looks really cool, but honestly, I don't think I would buy it because I want something that's a little more versatile I can use for dress or for casual or whatever. They added family setup to the Apple Watch, so now you can add your kid's Apple Watch to your iPhone and you can get location notifications and you can restrict what contacts they can contact. Another one that the rumors got right that is probably going to be a big deal for a lot of people is the Apple Watch SE, which is just a less expensive version of the Apple Watch. It's essentially the same watch, it's just a less expensive processor. It still has the altimeter and the blood oxygen level reader and all that kind of stuff. Next up, they started talking about the environment, and one of the things that they mentioned was that they're going to stop including the USB power adapter. They used the excuse that a lot of people have them laying around and that it'll reduce the carbon footprint. That may be true, but come on. Translation, we don't want to spend the money for it. We're going to save a little bit of money and increase our profits. They said that you can order these watches today and they'll be available Friday. Next up, they showed what amounted to a commercial for the Apple Watch, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty funny because it was a lady who was kind of narrating and say, imagine one day a watch that could do blah, 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 and oh, it's already been done. Okay, and then she kind of starts over and it's, imagine one day a tiny device that can read your blood oxygen levels. And they interrupt her again. It's already been done. And she ends up getting mad and, whatever. So it was kind of a cute commercial, but that's what it was a commercial. But it was pretty cool. Next, they announced a new service where they're going to have special workouts that go along with the Apple Watch. And so you'll have videos and you can put the video on your screen, whether it's an iPad or a TV or whatever. And not only will you have your data on your watch screen of your heart rate and how many miles you've gone or how many calories you've burned, all that kind of stuff, but it'll show it on the screen too. So when you're watching the video, it sort of overlays that data on the screen. So I thought that was pretty cool. Not only are they going to have the workouts tailored for your Apple Watch, but they'll also have playlists that'll go along with those. And they said if you have Apple Music, you can go ahead and download those playlists. They pointed out that these new workouts were going to be near the center of the app, and they said that they wanted to make them easy to find. Translation, we wanted to make it easy for you to give us your money. I say that, but I honestly do enjoy the way that Apple makes things in general easy to follow, and they make their stuff work really well together. They think things out really well, make things pretty fluid. All their devices work pretty well together, so I actually do really appreciate that. This workout service is going to be a subscription-based service that's going to be either $9.99 a month or $79.99 a year. So I'm sure you've noticed that Apple now has a bunch of different subscription services that you can opt into, such as iCloud and Apple Music. Well, now they've introduced Apple One. And Apple One is just the idea that you'll have one subscription fee and you get all of their digital services. So Apple One includes iCloud and Apple Music, Apple TV and Apple Arcade, and Apple News Plus and Apple Fitness Plus. Next up, they went into talking about the iPad. So as the usual with Apple, they mentioned that the new iPad is going to be 40% faster CPU and going to be twice as fast for the GPU. They showed off some cool features, such as the fact that it will be able to recognize when you are drawing a circle, and it can help you draw a perfect circle, and it can also detect handwriting from objects that you've drawn if you're taking notes, and you can do things like pinch to zoom. It'll recognize what you're trying to zoom in on and make that bigger without making all the other surrounding stuff bigger. So that was kind of a cool idea. They said it's going to start at $329 or $299 for education customers. Same as the new Apple Watches, you can order today and it'll be available Friday. Next, they went into the new Apple Air and they showed off several new colors. They said that the new iPad Air will have the liquid retina display. Next up is something that I'm actually pretty excited about, the fact that they're bringing back Touch ID. They're putting it in the power button instead of the home button, which was below the screen. These don't have any home buttons anymore, so now it's in the power button, which is fine with me. I'm happy to have that, because especially in 2020 when you're wearing a mask, Face ID doesn't always work as well as it used to. As far as I know, there's no substantiated leaks to sort of corroborate this, but when I saw that, I thought, awesome. Maybe they'll bring back Touch ID in the iPhone 12 and just have it in the power button. They talked about the iPad Air having the A14 Bionic, which is a 5 nanometer chip, and it's, they said, measured in atoms, which is pretty cool. They said that the CPU is going to be 40% faster, and the GPU is going to be 30% faster than the previous generation of the iPad Air. Next, they showed off some apps and some of the stuff that you can do, and one of the things was this Air DJ thing. I don't remember what it was called, but they showed off you could have the iPad laying on a table and have pictures of the records, and you don't even have to touch the screen. You could be doing it up above it and scratching like a DJ. So I thought that was kind of cool. Another app that they mentioned was a photo enhancing app, and they mentioned crime shows. So if you ever watch crime shows such as CSI and other shows like that, you'll notice sometimes they'll say, zoom in on that, now enhance. Okay, zoom in on that, enhance. And then they keep on zooming in, so they get like a reflection off of a doorknob, off of a license plate screw, off of a window across the street, and they get this like crystal clear image. I wouldn't expect that kind of results, but based on what they showed, it looked like you could get some pretty good results. The new iPad Air will have a 12 megapixel camera and redesigned speakers to give you a better experience while you're listening to videos or listening to music. And the starting price for the new iPad Air will be $599. And they said it'll be available next month. Next up, they did some more talking about how environmentally responsible they are, and then they went into talking about iOS 14, iPadOS 14, and tvOS 14, and they said that all those will be available tomorrow. I don't know about all of you, but I'm most excited about the new blood oxygen sensor level in the new Apple Watch, and the fact that they're bringing back Touch ID. And I'm really hoping that the new Touch ID sensor shows up in the new iPhone. Let me know in the comments what you're most excited about. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you next time. And that was probably because... And that was probably because there were 20% brighter. Is that right? Yeah. A cool piece of hardware they added to the watch is an always-on alternate. A cool piece of, if you're not already familiar with it, the blad. Wait for the motorcycle. Rumors had right, and was probably going to be a big deal for a lot of people, is the iPhone SE. I messed that up. They said that you can order these watches today, and So I don't know about you all, but I'm pretty excited about Number one, the blood oxygen.